obvious reasons they're down 3-1. It's their manner in which they're losing. They are playing bad basketball. Simple as that. They're not playing with any confidence. They're wasting the Derrick Rose performance with him starting. There's nobody coming off the bench. But they're doing a couple things right now that are going to wipe out the entire regular season for me. And that's, number one, Tom Thibodeau, who we all regale in this town as having walked on water because of what he did with the Knicks. And I think it was a great job, and I thought he should have been Coach of the Year, 100%. That being said, he's very, very stubborn. We saw that with the rotation and having Elfrid Payton come back for game 2 and start the first 5 minutes and then ultimately not play the rest of the game. And he's gotten off that, of course, since then. But Julius Randle is a net negative for them right now. And the fact that the Knicks were on their bench celebrating his hard foul at the end of the game, as opposed to calling him out. And I don't have the right way to do that. I'm not suggesting that the teammate's going to call him out. But he's a real problem. And for a guy that's such a good coach as Tom Thibodeau is, let's call it the way it is. He's been out-coached. Their defensive plan is killing themselves. And he hasn't changed it in any one of the 4 games.
They've been outplayed.
And they've been outplayed.
They've been outplayed. And what happened in the first 2 games, specifically game 2, is Atlanta's shooters missed open shots on the fourth quarter.
Yes,
right?
That's accurate.
Bojan Bogdanovic, John Collins was MIA, Danilo Gallinari was awful. And now in Atlanta, they're making shots and the Knicks aren't. Outside of Derrick Rose, who has played well in this series?
Nobody.
Not Alec Burks after game 1.
Yep.
Not Reggie Bullock. Not R.J. Barrett. And certainly not Julius Randle, who's been exposed because Atlanta has treated him like a star. They've sent double teams his way. They've gotten him out of the post. And Julius Randle has failed.
And it's an unwatchable brand of basketball this way because they are missing open shots. They're giving Atlanta a boatload of open shots, and they're knocking them down. But at some point, you got to change what you're doing. Now, I don't know if that means let Frank Kidman-Lina, come in and just guard Trae Young up.
Frank should have started. And I know we talked about this last week when they made the obvious decision to get Elfrid Payton out of this rotation. Because Derrick Rose's weaponry has been coming off the bench. And then once he comes into games, he barely sits. Maybe he'll catch a blow for him some point early in the fourth quarter, but he plays. Now he's starting immediately.
And there's nobody to go to.
So if you would have started Frank, and I don't know if Tom Thibodeau's making any changes going into Game 5. And let me just say this, by the way. This series is not over. Okay? I know it feels that way for you and may feel that way for a lot of Knicks fans. You've got 2 of the last 3 games in your own building at Madison Square Garden.
I believe the Knicks are going to win tomorrow night.
Okay, then the series is not over. Let's stop game planning for next year. I heard that on the station this morning. What are you doing? We'll have plenty of time for game planning for next season. And usually when you're down 3-1, it feels like it's over. In any of the comebacks in the history of the NBA, how many has there been? 13 or 14 comebacks from 3-1 down? Other than the Knicks blowing it to Miami because of the suspensions, you never feel a team is coming back from 3-1 down.
Right.
No one ever has that feeling, but the Knicks have to start playing a hell of a lot better.
Yep.
But let's not, write the obituary as if this season is 100% over.
I also find it interesting that Quickly can't get court time.
Because he stinks.
That fascinates me.
Have you watched him when he's been out there?
Yeah, but listen, it's just the whole thing. You know what it is?
He hasn't played well.
We're the 4 seed, not the 5 seed. And we're playing like we're just fortunate enough to be on the court.
Well,
and then comes Clint Capella. And I'm glad Clint Capella said what I'm about to play for you because maybe it's what the Knicks needed. I don't know. But, Trae Young was the enemy, right? And Trae Young has played that role. And to his credit, hasn't stopped him one bit from doing what he wants to do.
Seems like the opposite
whenever he wants to do it.
Seems like it's actually emboldened him even a little
bit. But after the Randle foul on Gallinari that had the Knicks bench all pumped up despite being down 23, somebody put a microphone in Clint Capella's face. This is what he said.
I don't know if they're physical, but they're trying to play physical. I feel like if they were really physical, we have more problems than we have. I feel like they're trying to, but it's not working. And we've been doing a really good job about it. We've been responding pretty well because we showed them that we can be physical too. So that's why we are where we are. And we have to confirm that one more time tomorrow.
Could you walk me through what you mean by like they're trying to be, but not really? Like,
They're trying to play tough. I mean, push our guys around and talk, but we can do that too. And we showed them as soon as they came back here that we can push guys around too. We can talk shit as well. So what you gonna do about it? And we can get a win with it. So what you gonna do about it? Oh, game 4, you're coming back again. Well, it's gonna happen again. We win the game, we talk shit and we push around. So what are you gonna do about it? So that's what happened. We can do it too. We can be physical, but we can win games as well. And now we're coming to your home to win this game again. They send you on vacation.
Send you on vacation.
That is a wrestling promo. What are you going to do about it?
That's 5 words. It's a question that Clint Capella just put out to Julius Randle and the entire Knicks franchise. What you going to do about it? I'd love to know the answer. I really would.
Well, what do you think the answer is?
I have no idea because they asked, I guess they just had after shoot around.
They asked Julius about
Randle.
it.
He said, I just heard about it. I don't care. They asked Derrick Rose about it. He said, I'm 32. I've never talked to bleep in my life. I'm not going to start now. I'm too old for it.
Right.
So Clint Capella came out and said, they try to push us around, and instead we push them around and beat them, and we're going to come into your building and send you on vacation.
Yeah.
What you going to do about it? To me, that's the rallying cry. We now
You don't need
have
a
to answer
rallying
that
cry.
question
Craig,
without spitting on people.
Craig, you're down 3-1. That's your rallying cry.
No.
If you needed Clint Capella
Yes, I
to
did.
ask you, what are you going to do about it?
Yeah,
You should need that.
I need it.
You're down 3-1.
I'm telling you
You're
right
playing
now.
Game 5 in your own damn building.
Listen,
That's
mate.
what you do about it. Beat them.
If I'm on the New York Knicks franchise in any capacity, I now have a sign up on every guy's locker. And the sign is very simple. It says, what you gonna do about it? Period, stop. That's not on the sign. That's just my
I get you.
additive.
Yeah, of course.
Additive stuff to
Adding to it, of
Yeah,
course.
I'm
Of
adding
course.
to it. Because if I'm a player and I got any self-respect at all, and I go back into my locker room, right? Doopy 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 doo. This is how I walk. Doo 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 doo. I walk
skipping?
loosey-goosey. Because life is good. And I go to my locker, and on the front of my locker, it says, what you gonna do about it? Right?
Yeah.
And I know the context of that question. I'm going to tell you what I got to answer. I got to answer that question. If I have no answer for Clint Capella, shame on me.
Well, what are you going to do about it? Answer Clint's question.
And I
He
literally,
basically said, you guys, here's what he said. He said, you guys were fugazi. That's what he said. He said, you're fake tough.
That's exactly right.
He said, Julius Randle took a cheap shot at Danilo Gallinari in a 24-point game with 4 minutes to go.
Yep.
Woo! That's what he said.
I tell you what I would do about it.
Yeah, what are you going to do about him?
And I know we reference this a lot, probably more than we should. And I recognize it's a different era.
What are you going to do about it?
Trent Young comes down the lane. He's going to the ground.
Yeah, great.
Every time somebody drives the lane, they hit the
Do
ground.
you see how
Like
and
this,
what
watch
they-
this. Here's me playing team defense.
Right.
Because you can play zone now in the NBA. I'm playing team defense. Someone comes down the lane. Boom.
Elbowed him.
I give him an elbow.
Craig.
I give him a body.
Craig.
I come up with the body.
Here's the problem.
On the
this
ground.
is not 1989. If you do that, you'll get a flagrant 2 and thrown out of the game. Is that
On
what
the
you're going to do
ground.
about it? So what Julius Randle's going to do about it is get ejected 3 minutes in.
No.
Is that what you're going to do
No,
about
hard
it?
fouls are acceptable in the NBA.
You just said elbow him in the face.
how about this?
I've seen flagrants and flagrant 2s for less in this league.
How about this?
Yeah.
Guy comes in the lane. I jump straight up. I give him a little knee. I look like this.
Hey.
A little knee right to the
Hey,
thigh.
Craig.
Oh, Charlie horse.
I got a great idea because that whole speech will fire people up. It will. But it ain't going to do anything. You're not actually doing anything about it. Here's what you need to do. It's boring, but it's true. Hit your freaking shots.
Yeah.
Play basketball the right way.
I remember-
You've got no one performing at their regular season level outside of Derrick Rose. Literally.
Derrick Rose is
Alec
playing
Burks,
his ass
Reggie
off.
Bullock,
Yeah.
IQ. Julius Randle. They've all underperformed. The only guy performing at the same or higher level is Derrick Rose. And you know this. If Derrick Rose is your best player in the playoffs, you're screwed. You're
Yes.
not going anywhere.
I agree. How
So-
about this? Guy comes down the lane. I give him a little hip action.
Great.
I throw with the ass.
With the
I
ass?
go hip and ass into him, knock him on the ground.
Great.
Listen,
That's what you're going to do
Evan,
about
you and
it.
I lived this.
Yeah.
You and I lived it. When you and I got here November 9th, everybody came out and said, you got no chance. Show's not going to work. Afternoon drive, was losing in the ratings. And I remember on November 10th, after reading all that crap, I went to my office, and on my office wall was, what you going to do about it?
It was there.
And I go, all right. I take that personally. I've got an answer.
Yeah.
And now here we are 6 months later.
But Craig, what did we do about it?
How you like us now?
What'd we do?
What?
What'd we do?
We came with the elbow?
No, we didn't.
We came with the knee.
That's not true.
And I put a little ass into
Craig,
it.
you know what we did? We did good shows. You know what the Knicks need to do?
Good shows.
Play good basketball. Like, we could sit here all day talking about toughness and this and hard fouls.
The Knicks aren't tough.
Dude, they're not playing well.
Yeah.
I understand that, and I understand why you feel that way, and I actually respect it. I really do. But you're losing because you're not playing well enough. You're losing because in this moment, you're not good enough.
Yes, but by the way, if you're Julius Randle and you're willing to take a flagrant one against Gallinari, down 23 points in the fourth quarter, and you barely even push him,
Right.
like it wasn't even a foul that meant
That's
nothing.
my point.
How about this? If you're willing to do that, next time Trae Young comes down the lane, drop him.
Well, that would have made more sense than the foul on
Drop him.
Danilo with 4 minutes to go. What the hell was the point of that?
Make that guy, because he's a great basketball player, make him think twice about driving down the lane.
Exactly. So go back to that hard foul on Danilo. Let me ask you a question.
I pissed me off,
What was
actually.
the point of it? Now ask yourself, what the hell was the point of that?
Evan,
It was a dirty play,
I'm with
and
you.
it did nothing.
I'm with you.
So why? What are we doing
But what's
here?
worse is that they were all like, yeah, JR, you get him,
Yeah,
JR.
they celebrated it.
They were high-fiving him. Even Tibbs went over to him on the bench and was like, yeah, I'm cool with it.
Why?
And it was pointless.
Danilo on the perimeter? That's the hard foul you're looking for?
He didn't knock him on his ass. It meant nothing. You're down 24. And frankly, Atlanta laughed it off like they should have.
Yeah, well, because it was a 24-point game with 4 minutes to go.
Stupid.
If the New York Knicks are going to do something about it, Julius Randle needs to shoot better than 27% from the field.
Knock him on his head.
Alec Burks needs to play like he did in game one. Reggie Bullock has to hit shots. Because if you don't, if all that stuff remains the same, Craig, you can whip out all the fugazi fake toughness you want. You're going home in 5. And then you can figure out and debate in your head, was this season a failure? All those
I
dumb
don't care about
questions you
all
want to
that.
ask yourself.
And by the way, I'm with you on this. I'm not ready to talk about the offseason yet.
Not yet.
I'm not talking about, max contracts and this and that with Randall. And no, we get Kawhi. No. I got a game to play tomorrow
Well, and
night.
also, Craig, think about it this way. I'm going to give the Knicks fans a pep talk. You're playing
Well,
game
no,
5.
Hold on.
What?
Hold on.
What?
We're good.
No. You're going to get the
No,
pep
no,
talk.
no.
I'm sorry. Too
Evan,
bad.
Evan,
You're going
hold
to have
on.
to deal with it.
I speak for Knick fans.
No.
I don't know that we need the Evan Roberts
It
pep
has
talk.
nothing to do with the Knicks. It has to do with basketball. You have a game
Hold
5
on,
in
is
your
this
own
the
building.
pep talk?
Yes. You have a game 5 in
Hold
your own
on.
building.
Quick disclaimer.
Yes.
Ladies and gentlemen listening, on behalf of Odyssey, formerly Entercom Entertainment, Evan Roberts, soon to be heard, monologue on how to win a game 5 at home.
Has nothing to
are
do with
the
that.
Are
Nope.
the thoughts of Evan Roberts and solely Evan Roberts? If you are finding any of those comments objectionable, blame Evan Roberts.
Yeah.
Please go ahead.
Knicks fans are not as sensitive as Celtic fans who whined and cried about a player touching their logo's face. Oh, my God. Oh. Anyhow, that's a story for a different day.
You better be consistent on that.
Oh, I am consistent.
You better be consistent on that.
Question me. When am I not consistent? Have I ever cried about someone putting their foot on my logo like the city of Boston? Cry me a freaking river. Wah! Someone touched my logo. I need to throw bottles at them. Wah! Find me the inconsistency.
How is this? Is this a pep talk for the Knicks?
Okay, it's coming.
I didn't hear it.
Here we go.
there.
Here we go.
All right, just checking.
You have a game 5 in your
By
own
the
building.
way, we're going to be giving away tickets to see Guns N' Roses at MetLife Stadium. So that's, I guess, the first major concert back. I don't know when's the show. I hope it's this year.
Better be.
I've heard that thing before. When is
It's
it?
in August.
August.
That's this year. It's only
All
2
right,
months.
so
August 5th.
We're going to be giving away tickets for you to see Guns N' Roses at MetLife Stadium on August 5th coming up within the next 30 minutes. But here's Evan's Game 5 pep talk.
Win a game in your own freaking building. You do that, all the pressure's on Atlanta in a Game 6, and all of a sudden we're sitting here on this radio station saying, oh, my God, if you win Game 6, it's back at the Garden. Coming back from 3-1 down when 2 of the last 3 games in your own building is not impossible. I've seen gutless teams force a Game 7 down 3-1. I've seen it.
Yes.
You don't have to be that special to force it. So for anyone who's backing the truck up and giving up and saying it's impossible, it's not impossible. Win a game in your own building, put all the pressure on Atlanta for a Game 6, and who knows, we may be sitting here on a Sunday afternoon or Sunday night with the Knicks playing a Game 7 in their own
Good
building.
possibility.
This is not
Yeah.
impossible.
Listen, they
And
swept them in the regular season. And when's the last time Atlanta went to the second round of the playoffs?
It's been a while.
Right. So, yeah, if the Knicks can win tomorrow night, then they play pressure-free in Atlanta. I agree with you on that.
Look, I've heard a lot of extreme opinions from Knicks fans over the last few months, some good, some bad. Right now, I think you're getting bad. Acting like you're dead? Why? Look, they've played like garbage through the first 4 games. We all agree with that. They obviously have to play better. Obvious. But the idea that they can't win a game in their own building to force a Game 6, where now all of a sudden, how much pressure is Atlanta facing knowing,
Significant.
geez, we better win this game and we got to go back to Madison Square Garden?
Not just that they failed to close out a dead team. Because the Knicks are dead right now.
Right now they're dead.
Yep.
They win Game 5 in their own building. You know what the tune's going to be like around here, especially coming off of Clint's comments. See, Clint Capella, in a way, put a lot of pressure on his own team.
Clint Capella just re-energized, for me, the whole Knicks fan base for tomorrow night. Clint Capella did us a favor. Clint Capella just did what a lot of football coaches talk about. You know, the locker room statements that energize and unite a team when all the chips are down. Clint Capella just did me a favor. He really did. Because if I'm the Knicks, I'm telling you, I'm not saying it just for the sake of saying it. Every locker in that locker room has a piece of paper taped to it. What you going to do about it? And when I practice tomorrow, the theme of the practice to each guy, mano a mano, what are you going to do about it? Like you, personally, you're Julius Randle, you're Alec Burks, you're whomever you are. When you take the court at the Garden tomorrow night, my question for you is, what are you going to do about it? I'm not talking collectively, you individually. You got to talk about matchups and this and that. What are you going to do about it?
And for you,
and I'd like the Knicks to answer that.
And for you, I want to help you out.
No, I'm good.
Don't
I'm good.
Start
I'm in a good
this.
place.
This whole season it's a waste if we lose tomorrow.
Depends how they lose.
Craig, let the season end, and then we'll have a great discussion about how that made you feel.
I'm not discussing
Don't
with you.
project. If we lose tomorrow night at the Garden, the season's a waste. Don't project that. Don't project, I'm not paying Julius Randle. When this season ends, and it may end tomorrow, it may not end this week.
It's not ending tomorrow.
When it's over, you and I will have a nice discussion, but don't become one of those radio guys who start projecting how you think you're going to feel before anything's
I
happened.
know how I'm going to feel, which is why I'm going to be talking to my therapist. Yes, I told her, we're not talking about anything but basketball. Next time I pay you $132. That's what we're talking about. Now, I said to him this morning, I go, you better watch tomorrow night's game. Because that's what we're talking about on Thursday.
So they're going to win? You
What
confident?
happened?
Are the Knicks going to win tomorrow night?
I've never wavered on that. I do believe the Knicks win Game 5. I never wavered on that.
Okay.
I'm not going to be a jackass and predict them winning the series, but I do believe they win Game 5. If it got to 7, I do think they'd win a 7. Let's just worry about 5 right now.
One game at a time. Is that cliche?
Listen, and if you're a fan going to the game tomorrow night, what you going to do about it? Don't spit, though. Come on.
Or
We're
run
better
on
than
the
that.
court, or throw water bottles, or bad and trash talk family members.
Now,
what
listen,
the hell's going on around here?
I don't mind trash talk, but here's the deal. I've been told, I know who the spitter is. And the spitter, his name has not been revealed publicly.
Mm-hmm.
I know the guy's name, all right? He's actually a very wealthy guy, comes from a very wealthy family.
Well, he was sitting first row.
Okay.
I mean, sure.
The spitter, the Trae Young spitter,
Yes.
has an excuse for the spitting.
Does he?
I have it. Yes, I do.
Do you believe the excuse?
No, I don't. But I do have it, and I'll give it to you. Coming up after this.
I also want you to figure out, because you have nothing, how I would be hypocritical for mocking the babies in Boston for
Okay.
crying about Kyrie Irving touching the
I
logo
will
in
tell
center
you.
court.
I'll tell you.
You've got nothing.
No, I have it.
You've got nothing.
I'm going to say it. Don't respond till after.
Okay.
Here's how you're being hypocritical.
Go ahead.
Juju. 877-337-6666.
It's Carton and Roberts on the Fan, WFAN, WFAN-FM, and WFAN.com.
I love what Bradley Beal said when he was asked about recent fan behavior at games between the spitting, the water bottle, the popcorn, the guy that ran on the court during the Sixers-Wizards game yesterday and just slapped the backboard and got tackled by a security guard. Bradley Beal come out, he was asked if he felt less safe on the court. And he said, quote, "I wouldn't say less safe. I don't want to use my hood term, but these hands work." Meaning, like, if a guy got close,
He'll beat the daylights out.
he'd have no problem popping a guy.
Yeah.
Good for him.
I wouldn't blame a player for doing that.
Yeah.
Because you don't know what someone's capable of doing or someone's intent. And what they're doing up in Boston is they're really prosecuting this guy who threw the water
Are they going
bottle.
after
He
him?
could end up in jail for 10 years.
Nah, that's not going to happen.
I'm not saying it's going to happen.
That'll
I'm
never
saying
happen.
that they're going after him. They're trying to make an example of it because...
But who is the Celtics are?
No, the city of Boston.
The city is? Yeah. But it's a weird thing. Like, he didn't hit him, thankfully.
Yeah, but it was a full bottle of water, and he could have.
Right.
And he could have damaged him or one of his teammates.
Yeah, but
it
I
looked
wonder-
like Tyler Johnson was ready to go after
I wonder
him.
what the difference is between hitting him and throwing it in his direction, like from a legal
Well,
standpoint.
what if he hurts him? I mean, then you've got
Like,
yourself an even bigger issue.
You know, there's a difference between assault and battery.
Right.
One's actually physical. I think that's battery.
Mm-hmm.
But assault can be like if I feigned a punch and you like ducked it and slipped off the curb
Right.
and broke your knee.
Right.
You know, that's assault.
Right.
Battery is if I make contact.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure.
Well, I think this
how
is
that's
they are
viewed differently, but
they are trying, and by they I mean local authorities, to try to scare the crap out of people.
It's not going to have any
doing
impact.
anything. I'm not saying it will either, by the way, because there used to be a bigger problem of fans jumping on the field in baseball, and then they started tackling them, roughing them up, putting them in jail for a couple of nights. You still see people do it.
Yeah.
It's not like when you're that drunk and stupid, you're thinking, what are the ramifications? That's not going through your mind.
Right. It's usually a dare or a challenge or something like that. Unless you're the old Kissy Morgana.
Right.
Who's a big-bosomed blonde gal who used to literally walk on the field. No one stopped her.
Right.
While the guy's up at the plate, she'd walk right to the plate, kiss the guy on the cheek, and go back to her seat. And no one stopped her because she was like, it's like late 70s, I guess. She was a big bosom girl, and people were happy to have the attention.
Right.
Right?
Yes.
You've seen the videos.
I
of
have
that.
heard about it. I've seen it.
Kissy
Absolutely.
Morgana, they called her. And she had like Dolly Parton-sized breasts. And she would, for some reason, I think George Brett comes to mind. And she would walk on the field. I think she's out like West Coast based. And would just plant big red lip marks on the guy's cheek and walk away.
What would happen if someone tried that today? You know what I mean? It
Like
wouldn't
a
go
very
well.
attractive woman?
Yes, a very attractive.
She
as
would
you
never
said.
make it to
She
the
wouldn't
playoffs.
make it, exactly.
Well,
She'd be tackled too.
In baseball, basketball, the fans are so close to the court.
Well, and that's why basketball has this issue. This is an issue basketball
I
has.
do not
'cause
think it's an
fans-
issue. I don't.
Dude.
Here's why. Of all these recent things that have happened,
Yeah.
only one of them happened on the court, and that guy had no interest in the players. He was just trying to slap the backboard. Like the popcorn, the guy's
but
in his seat.
throwing stuff at players. This isn't about, now it's being reported. This is a problem that, for whatever reason, over the last week and a half, seems like a bigger issue than we ever
And
had.
I don't think it is. It's
Why?
It's because it's four knuckleheads.
It's every night.
It's four people.
I
What we're talking
understand
about.
that, but
not,
it's
not an
happening.
epidemic. It's four a-holes.
Dude, do you think that this was always happening and it just wasn't reported on? Because if that's your theory, I can buy it. I just would disagree with it.
I don't know. You want to hear the spitter's excuse? I teased to go.
Yeah,
into the
what's
break.
his excuse?
So I know who the spitter is. I don't know him personally. Like I know the guy's name. All right. Very wealthy family. They own a very well-known building, actually. Here's his excuse. And he even put it on his social media. So I know it came from him, right? I went to the dentist earlier today.
Come on. I knew it was going to start with something like that.
Had a little gum work done. Had a little Novocaine. I was spitting all over the place.
At this, you know what you got to do?
You're not buying that?
Take the L. Just say, look, I did something so stupid. I feel bad about it. I even wrote Trae Young a personal letter apologizing.
Yeah.
Take the L. Don't make the excuse.
The weird thing is that He didn't even get Trae Young.
No, I know he got
50 Cent's girlfriend.
I know, which is horrible.
And she wasn't even sure that she got it. Like it was like a delayed
the
reaction.
problem with the
type of
spit
thing.
is, I think people view being spit on as like the most disrespectful
Well,
thing.
it
a
is. No
human
matter
can
where you
do.
are, it is.
Right,
Yes.
right.
Yeah.
Obviously, throwing a bottle of water is more dangerous. That's a more dangerous thing. But there's something about the spit that just feels disrespectful. And then I was reading Emmanuel quickly had a beer thrown on him.
That came out. Supposedly that happened also here.
So
At the Garden,
what's
not
the
in
origin?
Atlanta.
What's the origin of that?
I didn't get that whole story other than it came out yesterday, I guess, that quickly claimed he had a beer thrown on him at Madison Square Garden. And they found out who that guy was, and they've done the same
Why
thing.
was someone throwing
Lifetime ban.
Why was someone throwing a beer at IQ?
Yeah. Again, I don't want to speak on it too much because I don't know if he was like an Atlanta fan or what the story was. You know, a Knick fan wasn't doing it.
Right.
Right. So, but yeah,
crazy.
they did claim that
Go
quickly
to
had a beer
I
thrown on
thought
him.
Durant said it best after the Boston incident. Don't be stupid. What would your mom think about you doing this? Like, what would your mamas think if you're out there throwing stuff at players? It's embarrassing, and it gives most fans a bad name because most fans go to arenas and ballparks and stadiums, and we may drink, but we're there to have a good time. We're there to cheer on our guys, maybe boo our guys because we're frustrated, but not do these asinine, embarrassing things.
Found it interesting that, collectively, there was a major outcry at the popcorn dumped on Westbrook's head, but not the same about the Kyrie thing amongst the players.
Completely disagree with that. You didn't see the outcry?
What did LeBron James say about the bottle being thrown at Kyrie?
Well, I'm not checking LeBron's Twitter every 5 seconds.
Zero.
Maybe LeBron doesn't like Kyrie and he's staying.
If he said something, I missed it. But when the popcorn got thrown on Westbrook, boom, he was right out there. As he should
I
be.
think there's been a lot of negative reaction to the
Yeah.
Kyrie thing. And by the way, just because you mentioned Juju doesn't mean, because what he did was, for those who are like, why is Craig calling Evan those names? Like, what's going on? Juju used to go to the logo before a game.
And you were against it.
I didn't care about it.
I
and
remember you did a show, you said, I hate this.
Did I ever say that?
Yes. This is despicable.
I
This
don't
is
think I ever said that.
disrespectful.
I don't think I ever said that.
But that's what Kyrie did to the leprechaun.
I never,
Poor
first
little
of all,
leprechaun.
I think there's a really good chance I never said that. That's number one. And number two, if I was ever against something like that, would probably be more on the motivation aspect. Like, why am I giving my opponent motivation?
Right.
Kyrie Irving left the Boston Celtics. His fans, or the fans of the Celtics, have this thing called Kyrie derangement syndrome. And you know about this. They blame him for everything. Now, do I think Kyrie Irving is perfect? Absolutely not. I've ripped him plenty. Okay?
Yeah, they're
But
pissed at him because he
Boston-
said, I'm going to resign here and spend the rest of my career
Craig,
here.
I get that.
that's
I would dislike him too. But they go above and beyond to hate everything the guy's ever done. They blame everything that's happened to the Celtics on Kyrie Irving. They're deranged. I mean, they used to say, he's ducking the Celtics. That's why he's not playing. He was injured 2 years ago or last year. So the Celtic fan, for the most part, has been crazed. In fact, there's a group of Celtic fans. You know what they're doing? They're trying to get Kyrie Irving arrested. You want to know why?
For what?
For throwing a basketball into the stands 3 years ago as a Boston Celtic. There is a derangement syndrome among some.
Who did he
not
throw
all.
the basketball at?
He just threw it into the stands out of frustration.
Is that any better than throwing a water bottle?
Give me a break. Don't compare the two. Don't embarrass yourself.
They can both hurt someone.
Don't embarrass yourself the way some did on Twitter who said, hey, Kyrie brought it upon himself by
I wouldn't
stepping
say
on the
that.
law. Oh, there were
I didn't say
bozos
that.
saying that.
I didn't say that.
Dude,
But
Kyrie
he
Irving.
He did pretend he was wiping dog dew
Good.
on the
You know
leprechaun's
what?
face.
I can't stand the Celtics. Neither
I
can
hate
you,
the Celtics.
and neither can most of New York. So let's
Yeah.
all come together on this. You don't have to like Kyrie Irving. You don't have to like the Nets. I could give a rat's
Boy,
ass.
you love him now. Look at you. Boy, 3 years ago you hated him.
It
Now
wasn't
he's
like- he
now
wasn't-
he's like, you're talking about him like he's your brother.
He wasn't on my team.
But like, that's a
Have you
really,
heard of sports?
That's an amazing about face.
He's on my team.
But you're talking about him like he's family.
Well, if he leads me to a championship, he's
Look
family.
at you. All of a sudden, like you're sticking up for the guy
I'm
like
defending him in this regard. I don't
like
defend
he's
everything
Jesus
he
or
does.
something.
I don't defend everything he does or says, but I'm defending the fact that after squashing the Celtics, he decided to go to midcourt. And you know why he did it? Because he triggered the Boston fans. The Boston fans were triggered. Oh, my God! He touched the leprechaun's face!
you guys better remember this.
Oh, my God!
You better remember this.
I can't believe it!
You better remember
Wow.
this.
Hey, Boston. Wow.
Yeah.
Join me, Craig, because I know you agree with me.
I
deep
can't
down.
join you in this.
Really?
Yeah.
Were you offended
And I hate
by
the
it?
Celtics.
Were you offended by it?
I wasn't offended by it even a little bit.
So then what's your comments on Kyrie Irving?
I'm focused on Clint Capella right now in the Atlanta Hawks.
You loved it.
All right?
Most
I'm focused on that.
New Yorkers deep down loved Kyrie Irving disrespecting the leprechaun logo at center court. You loved it because you hate Boston. You can't stand the Celtics. And so even if it's a guy you don't like, and you don't have to like Kyrie Irving. There are times I don't like Kyrie Irving. But you know what? Putting his foot on that logo's face, it triggered Boston. Like it was the most offensive thing they've ever seen. Oh my God, can you believe it? And you know what's great? When Boston gets triggered, when they freak out, when they act nuts, when they act like, oh my God, we have to go back 3 years to try to get him
So
into
kind of
jail.
like you acted after game 3.
What was that?
Oh, my God.
I mean, I was a little bothered, yes.
So, similar type of behavior.
I was a little bothered.
Here's Georgie and Warwick on the Fan. George, what's up?
Craig, Evan, how are you?
Doing great, kid. What's on your mind?
What's up?
Good, good. Listen, I am calling to talk about the topic of the day with the NBA players getting stuff dumped on them. No defense. And I want to throw you a little curveball, so I'm giving you a heads up. I'm a retired New York City police officer.
Mm-hmm.
I was a police officer for 26 years.
Thank you for all that service.
You're welcome, my friend. You're welcome. My son's one now in the 4-4 precinct in the Bronx.
Yep.
Do you realize New York City police officers get spit on, people defecate on them when they're walking into buildings?
Well, that's horrific. That's horrific.
It's
absolutely horrific on a regular basis.
Yeah.
If I was making $10, $20 million a year like Westbrook,
you're going to put me in a bad spot you're going to put me in a bad spot, but it's night and day. It's apples and oranges.
Well, my point is, these guys are crying and complaining. If I went to work every day making $20 million a year, I would hope somebody would dump popcorn on my head.
And this has nothing to do with our belief in the NYPD or police officers in general. But you're going, it's apples and oranges. I kind of want to leave it at that. But if anyone did that to you, no matter what your job was, you should and would have a problem with it. And yes, the treatment of police officers that we've seen in New York City is reprehensible. Got nothing at all to do with a guy having popcorn dumped on his head at a basketball game, or a guy spitting in the direction of Trae Young, or a guy throwing a water bottle in the direction of Kyrie Irving, or a guy slapping the backboard in Washington. They're apples and oranges. They're not. We're not talking about the same thing, nor is it an even fair comparison. And I feel your pain. I do. And I respect your service to keep us all safe. But they're not connected in any way, shape, or form. And I'm sorry for that because I know it means so much to you. But they're just not.